A clear understanding of financial instruments can give you a tremendous competitive advantage in business and in life. For those who might have been following me for some time, you may be quite familiar with me talking about financial instruments. For example, I've talked about debt, equity, credit. I've talked about smart and creative financing, and I've also talked about hard money lending. It's important to understand these financial instruments and how they can be leveraged to your advantage. Today, I want to spend some time talking about personal and business credit so as to ensure that you have enough information to make better decisions when it comes to taking out personal or business credit. There are several important concepts that you want to be familiar with when it comes to leveraging credit. For example, you want to be familiar with things like what is your statement, your balance, what is the billing cycle, what is open and closing date, what is due date, and what is minimum balance due. These things may sound simple, but if you do not fully understand these concepts, they can lay that foundation to literally undermine your ability to build healthy credit. And that will ultimately challenge you when it comes to accessing capital to leverage into business or to leverage into your personal aspirations. Now, permit me to go just a little deeper into some of the concepts that we have discussed shortly. I talk about the billing cycle. How important is this? The billing cycle really helps you to understand what is the open and close date. To the average person, this means nothing. But I want to assure you, to become an educated consumer of credit instruments, you need to take the time to understand this. Let me explain. Between the open and close billing cycle, this is the window that you want to optimize your utilization of credit. And you also want to bring down your utilization within this window. So perhaps the day before the closing, you want to bring down your utilization to between 1 to 29%. Now, your ability to do this is what is going to enable you to have credit leverage, and two, it's going to also enable you to optimize your credit rating. Remember, I said that you will bring down your utilization to between 1 to 29%. And let me explain something here again. There's a concept out there that you should not use in excess of 30% of the credit available to you. That is true and that's false. The truth is that's correct from the perspective that by the time you reach your close date, you don't want an above 30% utilization of your credit to show at the end of that closing period, because it's going to significantly affect your credit score. And I'll talk later on about the factors that are influencing your credit score. The untruth is that you can max out the credit that is available to you within the billing cycle, all right? But you need to bring it down to between 1 to 29% by the time you reach to the end of the closing. Now, something else that is important here. You may have $5,000 in your credit line. You may use $4,500. My recommendation is to not pay all of this money back by the closing date. Because if you pay it back by the closing date, there will be nothing to report on. So the credit bureau will be seeing zero activities. Later on, I'm going to give you more explanation as to why that is going to happen. So what you want to do is to bring down that utilization to between 1 to 29%. That now leaves you with another window, all right? It leaves you with the closing window and the due date. And between the closing window and the due date, you're going to have between 20 to 25 days to reach that due date payment obligation. Now, let me explain something to you before I come back to the due date. It is only after the closing date a statement is created. And that statement is just a snapshot of the activities within the billing cycle that is being reported on. So for example, if you bring down your utilization to 1 to 29% within the billing cycle, remember what is being reported at the end is only the remaining balance. And they will now bill you on the remaining balance. And they need that. If you are billing personal or business credit, you need that to show up during the billing process. Now, if it is possible for you to bring down your utilization below 29% and possibly to 10% by the end of the closing, so it is showing up in the statement report, that is what's going to really help you to build unique and smart credit. And that's going to give you maximum leverage. Now, let me give you another clue here as to how you could avoid paying interest altogether. During the end cycle and the due date, if you're able to pay off the remaining 10% or 29% within this cycle, you will have absolutely no interest to pay. And this is why it is so important for you not just to have that financial instrument called the credit card in your hand without really understanding the moving parts of that credit card to ensure that you can manage it optimally to achieve the best results in billing business credit and at the same time leveraging credit to your advantage. In closing, there's a couple of things that I want to share with you. I want to share with you 5 additional concepts that you need to understand, because what are those factors that are really influencing your credit rating? And you need to take the time to fully understand this. So I begin. 1, how important is payment history? You need to understand this. Payment history accounts for 35% of what is reported on your credit score. Second, how important is utilization ratio? The utilization ratio accounts for 30% of what is reported on your credit activities. The third one, how important is the length of credit history? The length of credit history accounts for 15% of what is reported on your credit score, and you need to be aware of this. Fourth, how important is mixed account? The mixed account also accounts for 10% of what is reported on your credit score. Now, a brief example of a mixed account, it means that you have more than just the credit card, but you also may have a mortgage, you may have a student loan, you may have a car loan, you may have trade line. This represents the mix. Last but not least, you need to also understand new accounts. Yes, new accounts also account for 10% of what is reported on your credit score. How much credit card should you have in a window of time? You need to know these things. Failing to know all of these things, it will ultimately affect your credit score. You see, there are many persons who have the credit card, but you are not controlling the ebb and flow of high or low FICO score. You can control this. If you don't know how, my advice is to get in contact with the professionals that can really help you to make the best decision when it comes to managing personal and business credit. I know we talk a lot about personal credit here. A lot of what I'm saying is somewhat applicable to business credit, On the utilization base, it's slightly different, but the general principle can be applied. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant representing Pitch Deck 101. I want to encourage you to visit pitchdeck101.org, learn more about what we are doing, reach out to us so we can have that conversation in terms of how we can help you leverage financial instruments. But let me repeat this. You want to learn how to access, leverage, and mitigate financial instruments. Remember, follow us on social media and feel free to reach out to us so we can start that conversation. Be blessed and see you soon.